you going to open with me, Abram? You going to hang with me? Good morning, family. Good morning. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. I feel like I haven't been here in a really long time, even though I was here 2 weeks ago, but I don't know. I was in Costa Rica last Sunday. Amber, Chuck, Monica, and I all went to Costa Rica to spend some time with their leaders. And it was a really great trip. We were really able to sow into them, just like we always do. We didn't get to see Renee and Elena because they were out of town, which is kind of why we were there. What, sweetheart? Okay. Do you want me to hold you?
You probably do.
And I can tell it's summer because there's like 20 people here. But it's okay. Yeah. So I feel like even while we were down in Costa Rica, the Lord had been really talking to me about just a few things. I think it was maybe it was more of a reminder for myself. But it's really easy for us to worry a lot about everything going on in our lives. And I know we all have different stuff going on. You know, everyone has different things that they deal with. Everyone has different struggles. Everyone has different celebrations. And the Lord really brought me to a verse that, well, he's brought me to a lot in recent years. Of verses. So, Matthew 6. I'll start in verse 25. For this reason I say to you, do not be worried about your life as to what you will eat or what you will drink, nor for your body as to what you will put on. Is not life more than food, and the body more than clothing? Look at the birds of the air, that they do not sow, nor reap, nor gather in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not worth much more than they? And who of you by being worried can add a single hour to his life? And why are you worried about clothing? Observe how the lilies of the field grow. They do not toil, nor do they spin. Yet I say to you that not even Solomon in all his glory clothed himself like one of these. But if God so clothes the grass of the field, which is alive today and tomorrow, is alive today and tomorrow is thrown into the furnace, will he not much more clothe you, you of little faith? Do not worry then, saying, what will we eat, or what will we drink, or what will we wear for clothing? For the Gentiles eagerly seek all these things, for your heavenly Father knows that you need all these things. But seek first his kingdom and his righteousness, and all these things will be added to you. So do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will care for itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. And also, there's a song that I've been listening to a ton lately. I don't know if you guys have listened to Josh Baldwin's new album, but if you haven't, you really need to. Because honestly, when I first listened to it, I didn't like it. I was like, this isn't as good as his other one. But I started listening to it more and more, and now I kind of like have it on repeat. But the first song on the album is called Get Your Hopes Up. And I really love the chorus because it says, get your hopes up, lift your head up, let your faith arise. Get your hopes up, our God is for us. He's brought us back to life. And I really think when we get to that place where a lot of times we need to be reminded just how good the Father is. Even in the midst of all the stuff that's going on around us, maybe happening to people that we love, happening to people that we work with, it can be easy to see that, you know, this life is just not going the way I want it to or the way I think it should. But when we get to the point that we realize that the Father is really for us, that he really wants the best for us, it's so easy to get our hopes up. Most people say, well, don't get your hopes up. But that's not what the Father thinks. That's not what the Father believes for us. He wants us to get our hopes up. He wants us to be so in tune with him that everything seems like a possibility. That everything is going to work out. Does it always? Maybe not. But maybe we just need to adjust our perspective to that. It's the way the Father wants it to work out, and it is good. He does make all things work together for our good. So I just want to encourage you guys as we worship today, as we worship together, let's enter into the Father with that perspective that He is for me. He does want all those good things that I want. He does want all those good things for me. He is a good daddy. He is such a good daddy. And He so wants to pour into us. He so wants us to just open up our hearts so that He can just pour everything He has for us into our hearts and into our lives. And He really wants us to do it together. He really wants us to do it as a family. We say it here all the time that God's original design was for family. And family is so very important. And our time together on Sundays is so very important. Our time with each other through the week is so important. It's easy to do things on your own. It does take sacrifice to do stuff together. It does take sacrifice to be a family. I look at my family. I mean, at times I sit in our living room and I'm like, oh Lord, this life is crazy. But then I have times where, like right now, I have Lydia sitting at my feet. Abram is doing, I don't know, whatever he's doing. But I could look at it they're driving me nuts. Then there are days where that happens. But I do understand that having them in my life has made me a better father. It's made me a better son. It's made me a better husband. It's made me a better brother. That's how important family is. I would just ask you guys, I'm going to do the whole traditional thing and just stand up. And I don't know how you open yourself up to the Father, so you do that however you do that. But I want you to know that you have the freedom to do that here. It doesn't have to look a certain way. It doesn't have to be a certain way. I just want you to open yourself up to the Father. And as you do that, you will open yourself up to others. And let's just go into His heart together. Go into His heart so that we can worship together, so that we can be together, and so that we can overcome those things that are hard together. Because it is better together.
In your name, the power to save, with only a whisper, mountains shake. Jesus, our hope and strength. You made a way, unlock these chains, and here in your presence, strongholds break. Freed by the love you gave. 'Cause we give you the highest praise. 'Cause you deserve it all. You deserve it all. We give you the highest praise. 'Cause you deserve it all. You deserve it all. Let's do that again. We give you the highest praise, 'cause you deserve it all. You deserve it all. And we give you the highest praise, 'cause you deserve it all. You deserve it all. There on a tree, merciful King, broken and shameful for all to see. The Father laid down His Son. Here we go. From darkness to light, death lost to life, heaven and earth will join and sing. Jesus has overcome. So we give you the highest praise, 'cause you deserve it all. You deserve it all. We give you the highest praise, 'cause you deserve it all. You deserve it all. We give you the highest praise, 'cause you deserve it all. You deserve it all. And we give you the highest praise, 'cause you deserve it all. You deserve it all. Yes, Lord. With every breath that's in my lungs, my heart cries out, to you belongs the glory. And through every loss or victory, my soul will rise to only bring you glory. Yes. And with every breath that's in my lungs, my heart cries out, to you belongs the glory. And through every loss or victory, my soul will rise to only bring you glory. You glory, yeah. So we give you the highest praise, 'cause you deserve it all. You deserve it all. And we give you the highest praise, 'cause you deserve it all. You deserve it all. And we give you the highest praise, 'cause you deserve it all. You deserve it all. And we give you the highest praise, 'cause you deserve it all. Let go of your heart. So let go of your heart. Let go of your head and feel Him now. So let go of your heart. Let go of your head and feel Him now. Let go. So let go of your heart. Let go of your head and feel Him now. So let go of your 'cause you deserve it all. 'Cause you deserve it all. 'Cause you deserve it all. There on a tree, merciful King, broken and shamed for all to see. The Father laid down his Son. Sing that again. There on a tree. There on a tree, merciful King, broken and shamed for all to see. The Father laid down his Son. Come on, everything you got. From darkness to light, death lost to life, heaven and earth will join and sing, 'cause Jesus has overcome. We give you the highest praise, for you deserve it all, you deserve it all, and we give you the highest praise, for you deserve it all, you deserve it all, and we give you the highest praise, you deserve it all, you deserve it all, we give you the highest praise, you deserve it all. Let's keep it up and go to the bridge. With every breath that's in my lungs, my heart cries out, to you belongs the glory. And through every loss or victory, my soul will rise to only bring you glory. With every breath, and with every breath that's in my lungs, my soul cries out, to you belongs the glory. And through every loss or victory, my soul will rise to only bring you glory. You glory. 'Cause we give you the highest praise. 'Cause you deserve it all. You deserve it all. We give you the highest praise. You deserve it all. This just might be for me, but I want to sing this again. So let go of your heart, let go of your head, and feel him now. So let go of your heart, let go of your head, and feel him now. Come on, speak to yourself when you sing that. So let go of your heart, let go of your head, and feel him now. Jesus. So let go of your heart, let go of your head, and feel him now. Open our eyes, Lord. So let go of your heart, let go of your head, and feel him now. So let go of your heart, let go of your head. shout in the house this morning. 'Cause you deserve it all. Come on, let's just start to sing our own song to the Lord. Sometimes that's just the sound. Maybe you raise your voice a little bit. Maybe you just hum something. But let's focus in on the Lord right now. make way. We make way. We make way. We make way. You know, I think it's funny, like, when I'm singing, you know, swing wide you gates and swing wide you doors. Like, I know the biblical, I know where that comes from and what it's talking about. But when I was singing that, I was actually kind of looking at my own heart, like, swing wide you gates, swing wide you doors, because we're talking about, you know, the King of Glory coming. Well, the King of Glory is already here, but he's going to come through us. Okay, so I don't know if Diane's actually going to tell you this, but she wrote this song. It's the first time we had heard it this morning, and I was kind of undone by it. So I know she probably wouldn't say, hey, I wrote this song, but I just wanted you to know this is a good who-birthed song about the kind of theology that we believe in, and so I'm just really proud of you. So.
Woo! All right, so sing as big as you clap. That'd be good.
No pressure, Diane.
part is a story.
Here's the table of our Father with a seat for everyone. My heart is bound and hard, home and found. And we're standing next to you in our places fully known and crowned. And there's weeping on for miles, not from sorrow but in freedom. New laughter is spilling through the gates. There are dancers on the ruins and strong shoulders bearing weight. And every eye in the house is fixed upon your face. Up from the depths it's ringing out, on earth as it is in heaven. As from one heart a song, a sound, all of it resurrected, adopted, and home with the Father who loves us. 'Cause we're in our place, in your heart, in your family. We stand as proof of your love revealed. We are reborn, resurrected, adopted, and home with the Father who loves us. We're
our place in our heart and your family. We stand as proof of your love revealed. We are reborn, resurrected, adopted, and home with the Father who loves. Can we sing that again? 'Cause we're in our place in your heart, in your family. We stand as proof of your love revealed. 'Cause we are reborn, resurrected, adopted, and home with the Father who loves us.
There's a line here that says, there are dancers on the ruins. That line came from a picture the Lord showed me a long time ago about this ruined city. And we were in worship together one morning a long time ago, and I saw this picture of this city. The family was coming in together, but the first people that came in were dancers, and they weren't like warring. They weren't like you see us sometimes worship, like really going after it. They were almost ballerinas. Like, it was so graceful and so glorious, and it was such a declaration of authority because they didn't have to war. It was already done. So they were coming in with this beautiful, glorious expression of just, yeah, we see ruins too, but that's not what the Father sees. This is already done. And so I just want to go back and sing that line. There's weeping on from miles, not from sorrow, but in freedom. New laughter is spilling through the gates, and Denver reminded us that's us. There's dancers on the roofs and strong shoulders bearing weight. It's this declaration of victory. Done. And he did it. And he's beautiful and glorious, and he adopted us, and he took us in, and he resurrected us, and like from the very bottom. He built it all back up again, and he's building this glorious house. So I just want to sing that line again. Okay. And there's weeping on for miles, not from sorrow but in freedom. New laughter is spilling through the gates. There are dancers on the ruins and strong shoulders bearing weight. Let's do that line again. And there's weeping on for miles, not from sorrow but in freedom. New laughter is spilling through the gates. There are dancers on the ruins and strong shoulders. Us. And there's weeping on for miles, not from sorrow but in freedom. New laughter is spilling through the gates. There are dancers on the ruins and strong shoulders bearing weight. Father, and every eye in our house is fixed upon your face. Up from the depths, it's ringing out on earth as it is in heaven. As from one heart, a song, a sound. All of his family singing that we are in our place, in your heart, in your family. We stand as proof of your love revealed. We are reborn, resurrected, adopted, and home with the Father who loves us. We are reborn, resurrected, adopted, accepted and home with the Father who loves us. Ooh.
Cause there is not a man or a beast, nothing on the land or underneath, oh, nothing that could ever come between the love you have for me. I could lay my head in Sheol, and I could make my bed at the bottom of the darkness deep. Oh, but there is not a place I could escape you. 'Cause your heart won't stop coming after me. 'Cause your heart won't stop coming after me. 'Cause your heart won't stop coming after me. Yeah. 'Cause there is not an angel of the stars, there is not a devil in the dark, oh, nothing that could change the way you are, the love you have for me. 'Cause I could lay my head, 'cause I could lay my head in Sheol, I could make my bed at the bottom of the darkness deep. Oh, there is not a place I could escape you. Here we go. 'Cause your heart won't stop coming after me. 'Cause your heart won't stop coming after me. 'Cause your heart won't stop coming after me. Your heart. Your heart won't stop coming after me. So your heart won't stop coming after me. So your heart won't stop coming after me. Yeah. In Sheol, and I could make my bed at the bottom of the darkness deep. Oh, but there is not a place I could escape you. 'Cause I could lay my head in Sheol, and I could make my bed at the bottom of the darkness deep. Oh, but there is not a place I could escape you. Your heart won't stop coming after me. 'Cause your heart won't stop coming after me. 'Cause your heart my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Come on, let's raise our voices then. Sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art. Yes. How great thou art. 'Cause I could lay my head in Sheol, and I could make my bed at the bottom of the darkest deep. Oh, but there is not a place I could escape you. 'Cause I could lay my head in Sheol. I could make my bed at the bottom of the darkest deep. Oh, but there is not a place. Come on, here we go. Your heart. Because your heart won't stop coming after me. Your heart won't stop coming after me. So your heart won't. I can lay my head one more time. Because I could lay my head in Sheol, and I could make my bed at the bottom of the darkest deep. Oh, there is not a place I could escape you. Because your heart won't stop coming after me. Your heart won't stop coming after me. Your heart won't stop coming after. Just sing this one more time. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Can we have the ushers come up? Jesus, we just thank you so much for what you've blessed us with. God, we thank you for this family. And God, we thank you for the ability to sow back into it. So God, we ask that you would bless the gift and the giver today, and that your name would be glorified in us. Amen.
Sister one. I just want to tell Diane how great that song is. And I really, really enjoy your heart in hearing your songs. And I like your explanation of those verses. And, you know, sometimes I think we try to do too much on our own. And we don't realize the victory that has been given to us. So I want to encourage you and bless you to keep writing songs. Because you have a really good gift in you to do that. And that's really a message that needs to come out in our worship songs for people to hear. So I love you and thank you for writing that and sharing it with us.
Okay. So we can have the children hop on out to your classes. Some that way, some this way. Young ones this way. Thank you. I wanted to read something really quick to you. Well, okay, so there's lots of things to talk about. First of all, if you saw our updates about kids camp this week, did you guys see those? Thank you. We had a really, really good time with your kids, with all of our kids. It was an incredible time. So hopefully you got to see that and talk to your kids about it. And really, that whole experience was born out of something the Lord started doing in me that I'm going to share with you here in a little bit today. But before I do that, I want to read this to you because I was thinking about it. I don't know how I even got to this this morning, and it really has nothing to do with what I was going to talk to you about. But I wanted to read it to you because when we were doing offering, I just felt like I needed to read this, and almost like as a reminder and like a declaration over us and in this idea of abundance. So it's from Psalms 65. And it says, I'm going to start in verse 9. It says, "You visit the earth and cause it to overflow. You greatly enrich it. The stream of God is full of water. You prepare their grain, for thus you prepare the earth. You water its furrows abundantly. You settle its ridges. You soften it with showers. You bless its growth. You have crowned the year with your bounty, and your paths drip with fatness. The pastures of the wilderness drip, and the hills gird themselves with rejoicing. The meadows are clothed with flocks, and the valleys are covered with grain. They shout for joy. Yes, they sing. You have crowned the year with your bounty." It was all in my heart this morning. And like I said, it has nothing to do with what I was going to talk about, but I just had to read it because I feel like when we give and we give abundantly connected to that place that we have reserved for us in Him, really, that's right there, that's it. Like He's the source and His river is full and He has crowned the year. You know, like, isn't that amazing? Anyway, I had asked the Lord, this was like 2 days ago, I had asked the Lord in the car, because Chris and I are just like in this like season of like feels like opportunity is sort of everywhere, which is just awesome. But I asked the Lord, I was like talking to Him about this abundance thing and stuff. And I asked Him, you know, like, what comes before that? Like where does that come from? What comes before us living abundantly? And he was like, gratitude, thankfulness. Like that leads us, like when we have thankful hearts, when we have a spirit of gratitude in us, that we see, that is like the door to seeing all the abundance that's around us that we get to walk in. Isn't that amazing? Anyway, that's just a little side note, I guess, but he's really good. The Father's really good to us. Father, just thank you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being in us and with us always. Thank you that our bread is your presence. Our bread is your presence. We love the way you sit and talk with us. Thank you. So I'm going to start by sharing a story, which will probably lead to another story and another story. But I'm going to give you just a story. Some of you have heard bits and pieces of, this is really my story with Jesus over the last 2 or 3 months. And that's what I'm going to start with giving us today. Because this whole thing, like, that Jesus does stuff in you and Holy Spirit's with you. And, like, then you look back and you see how everything is building, and it all goes like this at one time. Like puzzle pieces all go together. So that's what I sort of feel like is happening over these last couple of months with me. So I have a child who is very, very imaginative. And so as she's growing, the most pure heart I know, growing, her imagination is also growing. And that is something that I've always loved about childlikeness, about children, is their imagination and how they can just play and see so freely. And I want to play and see that freely, And I've always been convinced of that. I've been convinced that, I can remember, even as my kids were little, I would go and just lay down and we would just tell the craziest stories we could think of. I could be like, okay, I'll go first, so they could see, how absolutely weird it could be, And then they would have even better ideas, of course. But I just love a child's imagination. And so I've always wanted to see that grow in my kids. But then, as they grow and their imagination grows, what I found is I was like, wait, I don't understand that part of the imagination. Some of it started, I just didn't know about it. And so I went to the Lord and I started asking him about this, because what I realized is that, it's in all of our kids, and it's a beautiful thing, but I want to know how to, train it and raise it to be free, but also with discernment and wisdom, so that it's free and alive and active and can see, and it can be a gateway into stuff that can rock our world, but also that it is partnered with discernment and wisdom so that it can be the most effective, impactful thing on this earth in their hearts with the Lord. So I started asking the Lord about this, and I just started sitting with him, and what I realized is that I had a lot of fears. When you start seeing stuff for your kids and then he takes you back to you again. Do you ever have that happen? You see something that you're going, and then he's like, well, wait, I need to go right here and you first. And so as I would sit with him, he was slowly starting to bring to the surface in me some of my own fears, religious fears that I had, that had to go in order for me to walk freely with my child in this. And so the one day I sat with him and I said, Jesus, I want to go in my imagination, but I want to go with you. Like, will you take me there? Will you take me? And so he did. I sat on my couch. I was sitting with him and talking with him, and he took me, and I closed my eyes, and I I feel like I'm in like a clock shop, and there were like all these tick-tocks and chimes, and like it sounded like there were just clocks all around me. And then it's like I opened my eyes, and all of that was gone, and I looked, and I was holding these worlds in my hand. And I was standing on top of the globe. Like I could see the earth, and I was standing on the earth, and I was holding these globes, these worlds. And then I looked around, and I saw other people were standing on the earth, and some had one, some had two, and some had many all around them. And you know how like when you're in a place like that with the Lord, there's some things that you just know about what you know what I mean? There's just things you know while you're there. I just knew that what this thing that was in my hand, I had created it. And so I looked at Jesus and I was like, what's this? Like, what's this thing that I'm seeing? What does this look like? And I love to ask Jesus questions. So I would sit there and I'd be like, can we really create worlds? I was like, or is that symbolic of things that like, you know, the worlds we created, like our school, you know, all these, I just had all kinds of questions. And a lot of times he just smiles and laughs at me, and he won't actually tell me a full answer. But he looked at me one time while I was sitting there, and he said to me, he said, well, if you could create a world, what would it be like? And so I looked at him and I was like, okay, you're serious? Like, I can create anything I want. This can be what I see, not necessarily me going into your head, but this can be like anything. And he was like, yeah. If you could create a world, what would it be like? And so I sat with him, and for probably, every day for probably 3 weeks, I would sit with him for about 2 hours a day. That sounds crazy, but I did. I would sit with him, and I was creating a world with him. And it was so cool. Okay? Like, I realized I was starting to get free when I was starting to have fun doing this with Jesus. And so I was sitting with him, and I'd be like, I'd start creating all kinds of stuff. Like, in my world, and some of you have heard me talk a little bit about this, but it's just so much fun. Like, there's flying creatures, and there's kids everywhere, of course. And because I love kids, there's kids everywhere, flying creatures. When people would ask questions, like these waterfalls would just start cascading from them. And then the sun would hit it, and these rainbows would appear, and people would travel all over the planet just by hopping on a rainbow. And it was just fun. Well, in this world, I had like a dark forest. And in my dark forest, it was called my forest of courage. When you would walk into my forest of courage, all the rocks would start to like follow your feet. Have you seen Frozen? Okay, you know when like the rocks, they're trolls, but they roll up to, what's his face? Kristoff? Yeah. The rocks would roll up. So the rocks would follow your feet that way, but they weren't trolls. They would follow your feet that way, and when you would pick them up, they would become swords. And then as a part of you being in this forest of courage, as a part of being there, if someone would get hurt, part of your quest was to get them out into the light. Because in this world that I was creating, the light rays were like the healing power of the world. Okay? So, like, I just would every day, I just literally started writing. I guess I was pretending like I'm J.R. Tolkien or something, right? Creating this world, because I finally found this, like, way to be free to do that. Actually, I'm just going to stop there really quick. Do any of you find it hard to imagine that way? Do you find it hard to imagine that way? I'm going to talk to that really quick because I found it hard to imagine that way. And then I'm going to rewind and do this. So don't forget where we're at in my story, though, okay? So light rays are the healing power of the world. We'll get back to that. For those that you guys were saying, it's hard to imagine this way. Honestly, not long before all this journey started with the Lord, he had given me a dream. And I know now by looking back, he was preparing me for this thing. But in this dream, the dream took me back to Isaiah chapter 11, where, actually, do you want to hear my dream? I'll tell you the dream really quick. Some of you have heard this, but I'll tell you the dream really quick. Kara was on top of like a sign, and I knew in my spirit that she was like representing the spirit of a child, okay? So that can be children, but that also can be the spirit of a child in us. And she was on top of this sign, and she was playing on this sign, and I mean, she was like acting like she was riding a horse and like kicking the sign and all this stuff. And I realized that at the bottom of the sign in the woodwork, there was a snake. And I was like, So I go and I get her. I said, Kara, come here, and I pick her up. The snake I didn't even see its head at that point. It wasn't aggressive to her at all. But she was like literally playing on this sign, like handling the snake and not even realizing it, kicking it like she's getting her horse to gallop and everything else. And when we backed up, the snake started to uncoil itself and come out of the sign towards us. It wasn't biting, but it just didn't feel right. So I said, Chris, and when Chris came around from behind the sign, which I knew, like, it felt like the Lord, like the presence of Jesus, like the Father's heart, but with the authority of Jesus on the earth, if that makes sense. He came around, and just with like no effort, he just grabbed that head out of the air and broke its neck. That dream, I remember saying to the Lord, like, what is this? He took me to two things. The New Testament, where the Pharisaical system was referred to as a den of vipers. Do you remember that? Jesus would say, like, you den of vipers. And then I went to Isaiah chapter 11. And in Isaiah chapter 11, it talks about Jesus. Actually, I'm going to read that to you really quick because I actually had that one opened anyway. It says, Then a shoot will spring from the stem of Jesse, and a branch from his roots will bear fruit. The Spirit of the Lord will rest on him, the Spirit of wisdom and understanding, the Spirit of counsel and strength. This is like a prophecy about Jesus, okay? This is how he's going to rule. The Spirit of knowledge and the fear of the Lord. He will delight in the fear of the Lord, and he will not judge by what he sees, by what his eyes see, or make a decision by what his ears hear. He'll judge with righteousness, with fairness. He will, talks about he'll have righteousness that'll be as a belt and faithfulness around his waist. And the wolf will dwell with the lamb, and the leopard will lie down with the young goat. So the things that used to eat each other will now not eat each other, right? And a little boy will lead them. The nursing child, this goes down to verse 8, chapter 11, verse 8. The nursing child will play by the hole of the cobra, and the weaned child will put his hand on the viper's den. They will not hurt or destroy in all my holy mountain, for the earth will be full of the knowledge of the Lord, as the waters cover the sea. Then in that day, the nations will resort to the root of Jesse. The source of the nations will be Jesus. That's exactly what that means. The source of the nations will be Jesus. Who will stand as a signal for the peoples, and his resting place will be glorious. So that dream, it took me right back to that scripture, that passage, where the infant, the childlike spirit, the spirit of a child in us. I remember I was talking with Diane one day, this is a couple months ago, and I told her I had been praying and interceding for the spirit of children in our earth today. And when I say that, like, I can remember times where I would pray for like the spirit of fathers in the earth, and there was this like anticipation and this like mobilization that you could feel in the spirit when you were praying for the spirit of fathers or the spirit of mothers. This time I had been praying for the spirit of children, and it was really grieved. Like, it was so grieved that I wept for 2 hours the one day. It was in such longing. You remember me telling you that. And Diane said to me, why do you think that is? Like, why is it in such longing and grief, you know? I come right back to this. The spirit of a child in us plays. How does a child play? With his imagination. So much. If I tell my children to play, they're making up scenarios, situations, stories. They're pretending to be creatures that don't even exist, right? They play next to the cobra's den. They can put their hands to what they're seeing and pretending and being. They're put their hands to that. And the viper won't bite it or poison it. The system won't poison it. That dream, I know, was the Lord setting my childlike spirit up to be free to imagine. And I started praying, like, in that, I not only started praying for the spirit of children, but for the spirit of a child in me. And I really believe that was like the beginning of me being able to be free to imagine with the Lord. So for those of you that are struggling with knowing how to even start, there, several of you said that was a hard thing. I really think, like, it is the person of the Lord that took that snake's head and broke its neck. It is the culture of Jesus that makes it safe for the childlike spirit to imagine and dream and play, and not our religious fears, and not all of it's religious fears. Some of it is fears we have from genuine experiences that were valid things that happen. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes there can be, but it's still fear, right? And the fact is, we don't want fear to immobilize us as children of the Lord. So I encourage you to just spend time with the Lord in that. I would even say go to Isaiah 11 and just pray it over yourself. Just read it over yourself. Refresh yourself. That's the kind of culture the person of Jesus in your life has created for you, so that the spirit of a child in you can be free to sit with him and imagine. Is that good? Do you have, does that give you something to take home? It really helped me. There were times, and I mean, we all have our own background stuff, that we walk through, but there were times where I would literally, there were so many fears that had come up in me that there were times that I would sit on my couch with Jesus and be like, I need you to help me here because I want to be this free. And he is so faithful to do that with us and to be present with us in that capacity. So I would sit with him and I developed this world. Okay, back to the world. Do you remember where I was at with the world? I had a dark forest, and what was? Okay, light. Light was the healing power of my world, right? So this is the best part to me. I was writing this, world with Jesus, having a ton of fun doing it, imagining crazy, impossible things. Well, maybe they're not impossible, really. I'm learning that. And I end up, a couple days later, on a field trip with Rika. Rika was in first grade last year. So I was on a field trip. There were about 150 first graders. And we had gone over to Hagerstown to the theater, and then we were going to the park. And I had so many of those kids, when you go as a chaperone, you get so many that you're responsible for. So I had these kids. We're playing at the park. This one little girl, her name is Brooke. She is as petite as little Tallulah is. That's how little this little girl is. She's so cute. And she was playing on this equipment. And she falls off of the equipment. I didn't even see her fall, but she fell and she was inconsolable. She came crying. And she had a blue mark on her head. It wasn't raised, it went in. Does that make sense? So instead of an egg that went out, it was a line that went in. And she was just not having me comfort her. She was a little bit upset. And so I was I know it was Jesus. But I was I am going to get some sun rays for you. And she's still crying, looking at me like this lady's going crazy. And so I was I'm going to get some sun rays. And I said to her, these sun rays, you're going to watch me get them. I'm going to collect them, and I'm going to get them, and I'm going to put them on your boo-boo, and I'm going to say, be healed, and it's going to go away. Do you believe me? And her eyes were she's still half whimpering, she's still not happy. She still has a mark on her head, and she's looking at me like that, So I am, no kidding, in the middle of Hagerstown City Park with a group of kids catching sun rays. Okay, so we're just like this. And I'm going around, and then I start, and I get them in this ball. I act like I have this ball, which I think I did. But anyway, so I had these sun rays, and I had them in a ball, and I went like this, and I put them onto her head, and I said, be healed. And seriously, right there, I had several kids right around me. The mark went away. It just disappeared. And this little girl stopped, crying, and she just was her face, I literally see it every night before I go to bed. It was that precious. And I said, Jesus, I want to live this way. I want to live this way. I've been wanting to cry all morning. This Jesus is amazing, but Jesus used dirt and spit, right? I used sunshine. I think that was a better choice. No, I'm just kidding. I started remembering all these things. Like then when I would sit to imagine with the Lord, I'd be so overcome by his presence. Because I realized that when Jesus was walking the earth, he was having so much fun like that. He would imagine with his Father. How many times in the New Testament does it talk about Jesus? It says in the one passage, that he went to the wilderness often to pray. That he would go and be with his Father. That he didn't do anything he didn't see with his Father first, right? Man, guys, I'm telling you, I used to be so, I seriously would have said that was a waste of time for me to sit and create a world that doesn't exist and invest time in it. And what I saw was that it's not a waste at all. There is something to be released in the spirit of a child in all of us. And sitting with him and imagining. And our children, I started asking the Lord, I was like, how? I want to see this generation, so free in this. I remember at one point saying to the Lord, you said that the earth would be filled with the knowledge of the Lord. That's the sourcing. Filled with the knowledge of Jesus so that I can sit and imagine with him without fear, completely free. And so I found myself in, how you go through these things and, different things come out to you. I just was like, I want to see the earth be filled with the knowledge of the Lord. In such a way that our kids can walk in this one experience that I had made me so hungry to live an entire life that way. Our kids can. I'm convinced of it. They can live that way. May the earth be filled, sourced properly, so that when we see, it can be that beautiful all over the earth. So then I just would continue to sit with him and imagine what is possible. What could it be like? Because it's possible. I remembered the one time I was sitting with him and I was thinking about, and I shared this with the kids, that Esther, she had imagined, obviously, at one point that she could be queen, But then she's queen and she's stuck. Right? She was queen and she became stuck. It says that she was just thinking, I'll just sit here and hide in my identity and somebody else will come up. And Mordecai said, wait, how about you imagine what could be possible here? How about you think differently? What could happen? Could it be that you could be queen for this? Right? I am just I want to think differently. And I really, really want us all. I just feel like it's for all of us to think different. Jesus, the one time in this whole process, I started looking at how many times in the New Testament Jesus would tell a story that he made up in his imagination. Parables, right? They were stories that he made up in his imagination. And then it would say, you have to look at this because I never saw this before. But every single time, like he would say, now what do you think? Or it would say, he told us a parable about this to get them to think. What's possible in him? Free to imagine and sit with the Lord and then bring it. Jesus apparently, with his father at some point, saw that there could be coins in a fish's mouth. Right? That's a bit crazy. He's like, oh, yeah, we got to pay taxes. Okay, well, we don't have to, but we're, right? Isn't that what he said? Well, technically, but yeah. So we don't offend anyone. Let's make sure we're paying taxes, right? We're free to do these kinds of things. It's an opportunity to sow, right, when we pay taxes. That's what I tell myself anyway. That's a good perspective, right? I get to sow into this. And he says, go get the first fish that you pull up with a hook and open its mouth. Like, how fun would that have been, you know? I feel like this active place of imagination with the Lord is for us to start pursuing with him. Our hearts, our spirits, our core, completely sourced in him. Imagine what's possible. And even if it seems like crazy, like for me, I was just sitting down, like talking to him. Okay, if I could create a world, this is what it could be like. But then to see how he blessed that, how present he was in that, how he honored that with this beautiful little girl, who literally about an hour later, we were going to get on the bus to go home, and she goes to Rika and she's like, does your mommy make your boo-boos go away with sun rays? And Rika was like, no. I want to live like that. And I don't just want us, like I had asked the Lord, I was like, you know what? A whole generation of kids can live that freely. They can. How? That's what I said to him. How? How do I teach this? How do I do this? And he said, just go there yourself first. So that's where I am. And it's been a couple months. And I love sitting with him and imagining what could be possible. In Ephesians 3, here, I want to get there. Ephesians 3, chapter 20 says, now to him who is able to do far more abundantly beyond all that we could ask or think. I got to read that again. Now to him who is able to do far more abundantly beyond all that we could ask or think, Remember, Jesus is saying to the disciples, what do you think? What do you think? Here's a story. What do you think? What can you imagine? Far more abundantly, beyond all that we can ask or think, according to the power that works within us. To him be the glory, it goes on, in the church, in Christ Jesus, to all generations. He can do far more abundantly beyond. That's a lot. Anything we can ask or think. I want to start thinking, right? Let's start imagining. Let's start creating with him. And then see what happens. Practice with him. You know, that's the one thing with Moses. He practiced all those miracles that he did with he practiced all of those with the Lord before he actually did them before the Pharaoh. It said, when he practiced with the snake, it freaked him out. He ran and he hid. And the Lord's like, wait a minute, we're practicing here. Go pick that thing up. He literally was practicing with the Lord. Fully rooted in everything he was doing was coming out of his relationship with the Lord, right? He wanted the people to be free. He got the heart of the Father for this people, saw them compassionately, saw they were being abused, basically. And then he practiced with the Lord. I think that's how we get to live. We can stay confined, and to what we see. But someday, there is a generation that can literally change what the face of the earth looks like. I think we get there this way. The kids this week, they were imagining one of the kids, Trish probably remembers this, one of the kids imagined, I forget how it even happened, but they were like, I saw legs on the mountains and life came into their legs and they were able to move. Literally, the face of the earth will change. I was reading this morning, I don't even know where I was reading in the Bible, but I was reading this morning. Does that ever happen to you? You read stuff and you forget where you were reading? And it said that the dawn was crying out for joy. I want to see this way. I want to see what seems impossible, what seems crazy. I want to see it and then bring it. Isn't that the Word made flesh? Isn't that what we've been talking about this whole year, the Word made flesh? Who he is, walked out right here in us. Abundance, not just being an idea, but walking it out. The bigger we can think and dream and imagine with the Lord, the more we get to become. Right? I want to be a part of the I don't want to be like Esther that's hiding in a corner well, maybe somebody else will come and save the people. Isn't that what Mordecai even said to her? When he sent the letter, he was like, look, you can sit there and think, let your family be killed and think that later on down the road, somebody else will come and deliver these people. But what if? I want to be on that side of it, right? I want to be what if I could be part of this generation that does this? What if I could sit and dream with my children what's possible? So Amberly and I started sitting together. She's my oldest one. I was telling her about all this stuff. she and I started sitting together, imagining if she could create a world, what would it be like? For the earth will be filled with the knowledge of the Lord. Father, that's our prayer. We intercede day and night, and we speak to the earth and we say, be filled with the knowledge of Jesus. Know a person. He's so good. Know your Father. He is so, so good. May the spirit of a child in the earth be set free by the person of Jesus. May the spirit of a child in the earth right now be set free by the person of Jesus. That we can play and dream and imagine what is possible. Because it's possible. Jesus, you said, you were like, what about, think about a camel. Imagine a camel going through the eye of a needle. It's possible. It's possible. Can we, live this way together? Seeing creation, what's possible. I mean, Moses saw the waters split. What can we see? And can we walk it out? Practice with him. And actually do it. Become it. And see the eyes of the spirit of a child in complete wonder. That's what I saw in that little girl. Eyes of the spirit of the child in complete wonder. Father, for the spirit of a child that is all over the earth, the spirit of a child that is in us, open our eyes to see you with wonder, to experience you that purely, with such belief. So that's really what I had for you today. And this is my prayer. I'm just going to pray this over you. My prayer is that when I was talking to the Lord today, and I was talking to him over the last, I don't know how many days, what I said to him, I said, what do we receive? What am I given today? What are we giving each other today? And he said, inspire. You don't have to teach anyone today. Just inspire them. So may we be inspired. Because that's what he wants to do today. He wants to inspire us, inspire our spirits, our hearts, I looked up the word inspire, and it's an English word, and it means to divinely be breathed into. Father, may we be inspired today. May your Spirit breathe life into our beings. It is so easy to get into our everyday and forget to see what it could look like if we live, like really, really live and grow. I think this is part of what abundance looks like. So Jesus, inspire us today. Divinely breathe into our core, into our spirits and our hearts and our minds and into our imaginations, Father. Bring them alive. There is so much more for us to walk in. Abundance, this might sound crazy, but I'm telling you, abundance is a good time. It's just like, seriously, Jesus was having such an incredible experience every time. Every time he could bring something here that we didn't understand. It's amazing. And we get to do that. We get to be that. So let's just stand together here. Actually, can we, what time is it? Do I have time? Okay, it's 12? Quarter till 12. I got time. Can we just all, come and, I don't know if we can somehow make a circle. Yeah, let's circle up here. Okay. Can you all hear me without this, maybe? I don't have to use this, or should I? Okay. It's okay. I should tie a stand around my waist that's like this. See, I'm working on this. It's funny because in this whole thing, wherever my husband is, he will shake his head. In this whole time where I've just been sitting with the Lord and slowly being freed and freed and freed, more and more free to think and dream and imagine with him, I started saying, Jesus, I know other people feel locked up in this. What can I create that would help people to be able to imagine? Some people are really good at just, where's he at? Tim? He is the most incredible person. I remember one time I went and I sat down to, we were all sitting around to play a game or something, and he just was I'm going to be, and he took on this voice and pretended that he was this other guy. Do you remember this? It's at the camp, when we went, there's last fall, we went to the woods, and Yeah, up in the cabin, and we were like playing. We would like take turns playing different board games and stuff like that. But he would like sit down and be like, "So my name is gonna be this," and he was like took on this character or whatever. Like some people find it really easy to just imagine and have so much fun with it, and then others of us, that's hard. I would like to I would just like to start seeing together and imagining. Like this is what I do with my kids, especially after all of this. Like sometimes we'll sit in a circle and we'll just be like, "What do you see?" I think I would love to, before we go today, I'd love for us to practice seeing together. So this part was like, I had no idea I was going to do this, so it's sort of fun. Do we want to give ourselves like a certain thing that we want to see? You know what I mean? That we're going to ask the Lord about. Like with the kids last week, we at one point said, what is something that looks impossible to you right now? Could be something personally or something that you're praying for somebody else, and then we had them draw a picture of what that would look like if it was totally possible. And then we took time to see the earth, and I think that's even more fun, honestly. I mean, I want to see my impossibilities be possible too, but like the earth. So maybe we could go there together. Do you guys want to do this together? So let's go for the earth. Like what? Let's go for what does the earth and what does our children look like in 25 years from now? You can go in whatever position you want to, but I'm going to kneel because that's how I like to sit with the Lord. But you're welcome to stand. But what does it look like? Let's just start to imagine. Jesus is sitting right here with us, right, Alia? Literally see him right beside you. I was at the beach a couple weeks ago, and I sat on the sand, and I looked to my right, and he was literally sitting right beside me. I looked right into his eyes. That's when we imagine. That's when we're with him. Oh, what could it look like 25 years from now? That's not too far out, right? When you have something that you see, will you come up and say it in a microphone? And don't be afraid to say it. And I'm going to say one more thing while you're thinking. I did 25 years on purpose. Because I feel like if we say 100 years out, that's cool, but then we're disconnected from seeing, like, you know, we can sort of disconnect ourselves from it easier. Whereas when I say 25 years out, it's now something I have to walk in because I'm still going to be here. It's something that I got to start training my kids for right now because they're going to be here.
I guess I'm seeing something miraculous. I see the world transformed, or I should say restored, to what it was when it was first created. And I know that that through him this is possible in 25 years. It just beautiful, fresh air, just clear, abundant water, just breathing in life, filling your lungs, reaching out to other people, just the most beautiful world that I could ever imagine. I would love for that miracle to happen in the next 25 years.
I'm going to share something that I saw this morning. A couple of different times during worship, some of our littlest ones, Abram and Oliver were the two that I noticed, were going up to the drum cage, and they were standing on the ledge looking in, watching Casey. And then they would walk away, and what they would do next was they were partnering with what they were seeing. And so I was asking the Lord to show me where Casey was. And Casey was on top of this mountain, and he was laying on, I think it's Jacob that describes that he made a stone his pillow on the mountain of Bethel. That's where Casey was this morning, just at perfect rest on, like his head was on Jesus. And he was just making his sound just in this beautiful rest. But the thing that struck me was that Oliver watched Casey for maybe a solid minute, and then Oliver went behind the drum cage and started drumming on the bench that's back there. And as I was watching Casey and watching Oliver, I'm telling you, they were in perfect unison. I mean, perfect unison for a while. And the thing that I think that will increase in the next 25 years is this youngest generation's ability to see the Lord in someone and then replicate it. Not that they would pretend to be something that they're not, but they will be able to encounter Jesus in someone and then go and make their own sound. And they'll know how to partner with it. That was especially what I was seeing this morning, is that there's a generation arising that knows how to partner with the Jesus in each other. And I wanted to share that because I want you to know it's already a living reality. It is among us. And we are fostering it. But I see an increase in that.
Perhaps what I'm saying will fit with both what Trish said and Autumn said. I just see, in particular, the youth, but those in rebellion, worshiping. That the rebellion will just be gone from the earth, and that's just kind of what I see.
I believe in 25 years that there's going to be a cure for cancer. I believe in 25 years there'll be a cure for all these diseases. And God is awesome. And I believe if he can heal a blind man, he can heal me. He is awesome.
Okay, so my imagination, I think in 25 years, like nature will respond to me. So like if I go outside and I see a flower that I specifically like, but maybe it's not the color flower I like, I'll just be able to go say, red, and it'll just go, you know? Or if I'm taking a hike and I'm thirsty, I'll just go like to the rock and be like, hey, I need a drink, and it'll just start seeping water. Or like if I want to lay down, the grass doesn't just crush under me, it actually sort of bends and creates a place for me to lay. All of those things, like I just saw, like when I walk outside in the morning, everything goes, hey, what's up? You know what I mean? Like, we see you. Let's. What do you want to do? You know, I love that.
Wow, that's hard to follow. I don't know. What I see in 25 years is, well, first I'm going to go back. One of my favorite things about this church is the freedom that our kids have. I'm back there worshiping, and a lot of my Sunday morning worship is worshiping through these kids. And the freedom that they're going to have as adults in 25 years, it's something that I'm imagining. And it's going to be just awesome. And this body, the freedom that these kids have is going to change the environment everywhere they're at. So thanks everybody for teaching these kids so well.
Great, that was great. I imagine intimacy and oneness, instantaneous intimacy and oneness. And everybody who you see the immediate intimacy and oneness and no separation. Yeah.
Something else I was thinking about while you guys are still, there's more of you. I was thinking about, like, when I talk to Rika especially about these kinds of things, she always sees herself like petting tigers and like a very cool interaction with nature and with creation. And anytime, like, my kids start talking about animals that way, like I've always wanted to lay on a tiger and like have him be my pillow, and not eat me, but that's part of my imagination too. They don't eat me. But I think like that is how it was in the garden. Right? Like predators weren't predators like that in the garden. So it's a really cool thing when our kids are imagining things even like that. Like it is possible. It's what it was like at the beginning. So it's cool to imagine.
So, like, Jocelyn is kind of a prime example, and Jesus, too. But, so I believe that all the things that were said, like what Diane said, and all the things that are meant for the future are actually able to happen right now. Like, it doesn't need to be waited on. Like, we just need to do it, and just don't have a mental block about it, because we're already capable of doing this. Anyone?
Oh, sorry. I'll come right back here. Something else that, like what she was saying, when I had done that one, like I shared with you that one story about that little girl. So this is like, I guess, we learn trial and error. So like I had that experience with that little girl. And then there were maybe a couple weeks later, I was praying for someone that they would be healed. And I thought, maybe I'll go get some more sun rays. And it didn't work that time. And the one thing that I was really impressed on my heart is that, it's a living relationship with Jesus. It is an always ever like growing imagination. Like you don't just create one thing and stop. But it's got to be breathed into, inspired, fresh, new, alive with Jesus. And so that it evolves and changes and it can come out of you. That's why one time Jesus would heal someone this way and the next time he would heal them this way. It's because he was living in constant communication and relationship with his Father, right? I just wanted to put that out there. Do you have something there? I've asked her 3 times and she keeps saying no, but I know everybody wants to hear from you. Do you want to say anything? What do you imagine? Not sure right now.
Well, I believe that all of creation praises the Lord, and my heart's desire is to be able to hear and understand what they're saying and then join them in that symphony. I believe the crickets are worshiping. We just don't understand what they're saying. Each snowflake is different. What if it's a love language to the Lord that we haven't learned how to interpret yet? I so long for that. My cat meows at me all the time. He's saying something, but I don't understand what he's saying. I want to learn. And I want to be able to hear people's hearts better, much better. And the first thing that I saw was, when you said about looking over and there was the Lord, that each person would have that kind of an encounter with him on a daily basis. just all the time.
That is, like, encountering him that way is our source. And it is the source of this kind of life-giving imagination. It's seeing him. It's sitting with him. I keep, like, and I'm sure many of you, like you're talking to, are experiencing like an increase in that. Like I literally feel him touch my shoulders sometimes. I will literally feel him touch my head, and then I put my hands up there thinking my sunglasses must be up there, and I forgot, and it's not there. It was him. He's becoming like that. We are becoming, he's already, but we are becoming aware of him so much so that we can live in a constant place of relationship and presence with him.
So when Jocelyn was talking about imagining something, I didn't have any problem with it, but the Lord said, he said to me, I am the way, I am the truth, and I am the life. So, so he challenged me to think, how would you be the way? And then I saw myself like a street and people walking all over me. And then I saw myself being the light, you know, the light that reaches out so far away that people who couldn't find the way now can see the way. And then the life actually taking a bite out of myself, you know, like biting me and becoming healed and becoming, you know, better. And then the coolest, I dream a lot. Lately I haven't because I've been too tired to dream, but normally I dream a lot. But the coolest dream I've ever had was one that I was carrying a box here, and I had something in my feet, and I'm walking the hall to my bedroom, and then there's boxes all over it. And I'm like, how am I going to cross, you know, to where I need to go? And then the voice of the Lord, I believe was the Lord telling me, said, just command it. I mean, I'm like, what? Just say it. So I said, okay, boxes, move out of the way. And the boxes moved out of the way. So I walked right through it, and then I woke up, and I'm like, oh, that is awesome. And my whole day, I mean, at work and everybody, I was telling them my dream because it was so crazy and so cool. And then the Lord said, every day, Adelie, you can command things to life and things to existence. So what Raquel said is of today, like today some people live like that on a regular basis with him, and some do it without him too. That doesn't mean that's correct, but the Lord is inviting us to do it with him.
I'm glad you said that, because this is something I talked with the kids about, and probably several of you, but like you said, it's possible even for things to be done imaginatively without him. I remember, like in Moses, you know that the Egyptian magicians were able to do some of the same miracles that Moses did, right? But their source was off, and so the fruit of it was producing bondage for people and slavery, versus the fruit of what came out of Moses and out of his experience, encounter, like you were saying, that constant encounter and experience with the Lord, fully sourced in him. What came from him was deliverance for people and freedom. And really, it was all from the heart of the Father that he himself had gotten, you know, like spending time with the Lord. Moses could have lived like an Egyptian for his whole life if he wanted to. So it all started in that heart transfer of the Father's heart in him. And that's what it produced.
I see more love and compassion. Like, I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos, and I just start crying when I see videos of people who do these social experience, and it's more like, I guess, of the homeless people, but people weren't so nice. But the homeless people were showing a lot of compassion. And I just want to see a lot more people than just the homeless people, that we all come together and we all share in love and nothing but love for each other.
At kids camp, when I made the flower pot, that flower pot reminded me of God, and now it's growing, and now I know that my heart is growing, and God is loving me so much.
Mm-hmm. It's true. I know for myself, and probably for most of us, we all seem drawn to water. I know some of my most favorite places involve water. Going to the ocean, spending time on the lake. And when you said about what to think about or to dream about or just imagine, waterfalls came instantly to my mind. Maybe it's because we live in an area where I'm just attracted to waterfalls. And I just know every time we go and visit like Cunningham Falls, we're just also drawn and attracted to them. So that's the very first thing that I thought of was waterfalls, that I believe we're going to see waterfalls springing forth on the earth within 25 years. Like waterfalls that have ceased to run, they've lost their source, that they're going to, like there's going to be waterfalls that have actually, they don't even look like they have a source, and they're going to come forth. But then I just saw like within us, I saw waterfalls springing forth from our mouths and our hands, that I just feel like there's such an attraction. And I just feel like that's the Lord in us, is we're going to attract like the force of a waterfall. Like the lake is nice, but man, the waterfall has such power. That's what I saw.
It's so true. And I think I also think of water, and it's living water. It is Jesus, and he is the way, the life, and through him we live. Everything that we do is through him and by him and for him. So what I see going forward is a continual spiritual divide. However, there are those of us who are of living water who will spring forth. And we are the messengers. We are arising, and we have a lot to say. For some of us, it takes a little bit more to get to that point, but I think we're getting there slowly. And I think united, Roshni and I have had a conversation about this as well, that we really feel that this church has united such Holy Spirit gifted people for a purpose and a reason, and that we are intertwined, and it's all because of Jesus. And I think I would like more of you to really study and understand the gifts that are available to each and every one of you, and to go there and to pray and go deep and be one-on-one with Jesus Christ, and let the Holy Spirit work in your life, because it is unbelievable. I won't go into my history and my adversity, but that's what I see going forward, is that we all have such a purpose, and everything that we've done or have been has reached us in our life at some point in one way or another, has brought us to this point today, to be here together and to go forward for the next generations to come, and to teach our children, because there will be a greater spiritual divide, and we are the ones to maintain that oneness, that holistic approach, the Jesus Christ living, Christ-like living, and the joy that only comes from knowing God and from knowing that peace. So together, I look forward to so much greatness from this team. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. Thank you, Holy Spirit.
I saw chunks of salt all over the earth. chunks of salt.
This is kind of like Jocelyn was saying earlier. We were camping last week, and I just see a kind of a wave of childlike faith. It started. We were playing a card game, and something so simple. And Jackson needed a card, and so he asked Jesus to give him the card, and it came true. Everybody just kind of smiled, and then he did it again later in the game. And my sister said, "I don't know if Jesus is quite concerned with that," and he was like, "Yeah, he is." Pulled the card. So he pulled the card he needed again. So he just had that faith that it would come up. And then later on Sunday, we were packing up to go, and Ethan had fallen earlier in the day, and they had heard the story about the rays of sun. And Jackson, you see him collecting it, and then the two of them just come running over, and they said, "We saw it. We saw Ethan's scratch shrink down. He stopped limping. Everything." So it is amazing.
I will say too, like you said, this awareness, like children just, like this one day, it was so funny because we were driving on the road. This story is so funny to me. We were driving on the road, and Rika was like, "Man, I wish I could have soda," or like pop or whatever she called it, and I don't give them that. That's why she was really wishing for it, because it's never a yes from mommy. It's someone else if she gets it. So she's like, "Man, I wish I could have some soda or something." And the next thing you know, like no kidding, we're driving on 316. There is a whole can of soda that is not opened yet right in front of me. And I didn't see it in time, so I ran right over it. And Amberly goes, "Oh, look, Rika's dream came true. And now it's flat as a pancake." But just like they see so quickly, they're so aware, like to just start, and it's fun.
So the Lord reminded me of a dream I had when I was in Ukraine last time, and usually I don't dream, or at least I don't remember them. So when I do remember them, I'm like, okay, I know it's the Lord. So when I was there, I had this dream that I was walking through camp, like they have like walkways all around camp, and this little girl ran up to me, and so I picked her up, and instantly, like like what you were saying, when you're in a dream or something, like your spirit just knows, and I knew she was very important, and I knew that she was like a symbol of like a fulfillment of a promise of like what the Lord has promised, and so I looked to my left, and there was like a little rainbow like peeking through, and then it disappeared. And I was like, "Oh, like what happened to it?" And the little girl, like I just heard her. She was like, "No, like here's the sign of the promise." And she pointed over to where it was cloudy and dark and nothing there. And I'm like, well, what the heck? But then all of a sudden it broke through, and this big, like almost cartoonish looking like sun comes up in a rainbow and all this stuff. And it was one of the most wildest things, because in this dream, it's like one of the most strongest anointings of the Lord I've ever felt in this dream. And I wake up, and I'm just bawling, and I'm like, what the heck is all that about? And the more I talked to the Lord about it, he was just saying like this maturity that is arising like in his kids and whatever, like they have that childlikeness, but it's just a maturity to literally point and call out things where there's seemingly nothing or death, and call forth things that are, alive. And so that was something that really just kept coming to my mind, as everybody was like talking and everything. And as I was thinking about the 25 years thing, what was really like in my heart was I saw the church not divided anymore. I saw it really like as a whole coming together, and that we were walking in the Father's love with each other and him in such a way where these things were coming out naturally. Like these people are so either turned off by Christians or whatever because they see this thing, that's not real, that's whatever. But I saw us as literally we're alive. It was real. Like these things were, that you were talking about with the rays of sunshine and everything. It was a natural thing that happened. So people were literally encountering who Jesus really was, and not religion. Like they were, and that's what people are longing for, and that's what, I saw us as united was happening. So. And trusting one
another. Yeah. It was really neat to me this morning. I didn't see this till this morning, but at kids camp, like Jocelyn said, she told the kids to imagine something impossible, and write it down as possible. So when I went to pick up Alia, she sprinted to me and she said, "Mommy, I imagine," my cousin had a baby last Sunday, and it was 4 weeks early in the NICU. She's still in the NICU. And she said, "I imagine baby Natalie going home with Jen, not staying in the hospital, but going home with her mommy." So she imagined this Wednesday afternoon, and I just realized this today. Wednesday afternoon, the dad got to hold Natalie for the first time. Her breathing tube came out. I think her feeding tube came out, and she's like eating on her own. So like, kind of like Rocky said, she left, but imagine it and it's gonna be. We don't have to wait 25 years.
Something that's really deep in my heart. In 25 years, I want the generations to merge. I don't want any more of our elders to project it into generations in front of them, but to be renewed and young again in their spirits and to join us in it. I do want it for my children. But I know that, like Allie, she's 7, and she looks at me to show her what maturity looks like. And sometimes I'll catch her feeling exuberant about a thing, but then stuffing it because she sees me sort of falsely mature. And one of the ways that the childlikeness falls off is when you truly know Jesus, like when it's rooted in him, because he is wisdom and knowledge. And when the earth is filled with the knowledge of the Lord, that is wisdom. And that makes way for real wisdom and not false maturity. Then false maturity can fall away and healing can overwhelm every generation, young and old, and they'll walk together. And it won't be the young are foolish and fun and the old are wise and stiff or whatever, whatever's going on inside. It's this earth covered with joy and life and no death, slow or fast. So, just like that right there. So can I just pray that, please, Father, I ask, this is something I'm crying out for in my heart. Father, I ask for the generations to blend together and that honor and true knowledge of the Lord, true wisdom, true joy, childlikeness is the same for all. And that we would deeply honor elders and that there would be deep joy and life across the generations and that they would work together, sharing the inheritances together.
It's not too often that I get to be physically present with you guys, so today's really special for me. I was actually supposed to be somewhere else. The first thing that came to my heart was abundance of food. There are people that don't have enough, and I imagine, and as Diane spoke, I thought, ooh, vegetables, like you could just pick one up and eat it wherever you went. You didn't have to settle for McDonald's because you were traveling. You could actually have something healthy and nutritious. But then the thought came to me, no separation. There is no separation between us and the Father, and there's no separation between me and you. So even though you don't physically see me every week, I am always present, and I long for the day when we see everyone that way, when it's not, this is our church, but wherever you go, that's my brother, that's my sister, and maybe you've never physically seen their face before, but your heart just knows that they're a son, they're a daughter, and a unique expression of the Father that you just haven't had the pleasure to experience yet.
So at first I was thinking of the maybe new townhouses in Hagerstown area and just something about
good things happening in the common areas there. And then it came to me like I don't get into cities very often, but this place is pretty, this church, but this area is pretty amazing. Maybe cities would be more like us now, but along with Diane's thing about exuberance, what did she say about exuberance? Or there would be exuberance, but last week when Ben spoke, a young man was obviously excited, and he was feeling excitement at the same time I was about what Ben was speaking about. And it comes to me that maybe we would follow those who, or like my cousin. I have a cousin who is developmentally delayed. She's my age, but much younger in how do you say it? I don't know. In her mind, and she is a lot more sensitive than I ever realized. It was like 2 years ago till I realized how sensitive she is, how much she senses, and whereas I thought I was taking care of her, she was actually taking care of me, that we would follow or take our cues more from those who are developmentally delayed, and yeah.
This isn't really related to the earth so much, but my mind this whole time has been on vision and not really necessarily an imaginative vision. I'm one of those people that struggles with the imagination, but I really would love to see over the course of time when we look at each other that we look in each other's eyes. So much I see downcast eyes, and it's really hard to catch somebody and look them in the eye and connect. Years and years and years ago, 10, 12, I don't know, a long time ago, I was going through the turnstile at work, and a woman was coming out at the same time, and our eyes connected. She proceeded to come back in the turnstile behind me and say, "Your spirit spoke to my spirit." It was amazing. And I want that for everyone. And I want to see the spark in your eye, or I want to see what's missing in your eye so that the Jesus in me can fill that without a word. I would love to see that. So when you see me, come and look at me. I got something you need, and you got something I need.
This isn't so much what I see 25 years from now, but what I saw pulling in the parking lot this morning. I was a few minutes late, and as I was sitting there waiting to make the left-hand turn, I looked to the left and looked at the building, and there was a cloud over top of the building, a nice white fluffy cloud. And I thought, well, that's weird. So I looked for a second time, and there was a white fluffy cloud over the building, and I'm like, okay. So I look a third time, and I'm like, oh, I'm clearing my vision now, and I'm like, Lord, what was that all about? So as I physically make my way onto the parking lot, I can't stop shivering. And I'm just shivering, and I'm like, what is going on in this building today? And he said something that's needed to happen. And he said, I'm sourcing it in here. It's starting here. And I'm like, wow. So I walk in and I hear Diane's voice, and I'm like, awesome. She's up on stage again. And I'm thinking, oh, this is a word for Diane. This is great. So I'm sitting there and I tell him about it, and I'm like, but I don't know. Do I share it with Diane? So I tried to share it with Diane, and the Lord stopped me and said, stop being afraid of talking to more than one person. So I just want to encourage you that the great cloud of witnesses, they're here, they see this. Don't walk away from this building today forgetting what you heard. Take it with you. There's a reason you're here today. There's a reason you're going to go where you're going to go today and do what you're going to do. Don't forget this.
I'll be quick. That's my daughter. for you all don't know, some of you are just finding that out, but I'm very blessed, and I'm blessed to be here, and I'll keep this very long story short. The Lord brought me here. I didn't want to come here. I was having a really good time just being with the Lord and the house fellowships that we had where we did what she was talking about today. We did it all the time. And the one person kept saying, what if God calls you back to church? And I said, he's not going to do that. Well, he did. And I am so blessed and honored that he did. I walked into this place 2 years ago. There was nobody in this building. I was getting a shower ready for a baby shower for my other daughter. And I walked in and I felt the presence of God so strong here. And it was like dripping like honey. And I heard the Lord say, I want you here now. And I said, okay. And I came in, and I'm just seeing what is happening and what she shared today. In the 25 years, it's happening now. It's happening everywhere. And what she saw about the cloud of witnesses, I've seen it before too. They're here, and there has been a great word spoken. In fact, the foundation of this church, this fellowship, was on Isaiah 11:11, that the earth would be covered with the knowledge of the Lord as the waters covers the sea. That was Jean's heart. That's what he saw. And it's happening here, and it's happening through, I honor Mark. He is such a young man full of wisdom and light and truth. And we are awakened, and we are awakened to be sons and daughters upon this earth, to walk in love and humility to all creation. When God created everything, he said, it is good. And we have to rise up as awakened ones, because we are the ones that change the atmosphere as we walk in love and humility with Jesus. Thank you all for loving and accepting me here. I have found my home here, and I am blessed.
Okay, one more.
So this is one that I've had for actually a long time, but I want to start walking in it a little more over the next 25 years. And Jocelyn will confirm, but I want to, and it goes back to creation like Diane was talking about as far as commanding creation and what we do. I want to see as readily into the spirit realm as we do in the physical. Because that's the way Jesus walked. He could see the spirit overlaid with the physical, just as we see everything in the physical here, the chairs and everything else. And I want that back. I want to see that, because I think with that, it's every situation you walk into it fully equipped to handle what is happening when you can see both sides at the same time.
Trish is going to fly like Captain America. I'm going to fly like a fairy, but we're all going to fly. We agreed on that this week in our imagination week. Okay. Oh, sorry. Okay, is he really a Captain America if he can't fly? Okay, you can tell I had no idea who you were talking about when you said that. Okay. Hands on hearts. Because everything's coming out of our hearts, right? Out of the heart, we think, we speak, we imagine, and yes, we can walk in abundance. So, Father, may we imagine with our hearts. May we not be afraid to talk about it. May we not be afraid to take the baby steps to see that it's in us, in all of us, to imagine with you what is possible. And to practice with you. You, Holy Spirit, your love, you are the power that is working in us. that Jesus would be glorified in all the earth. Now to him who is able to do far more abundantly beyond what we can ask or think. We love you, Jesus. Amen. I love you too, Jesus. Have a great week. Love you, love you. Thank you for imagining with